saying, but it was the heavens that had commanded him to give her justice for whatever she was looking for. Back to Mlolongo and VPM Church. Have we ever taken time to appreciate the well that has been placed in our midst? And I am talking of the servant of God, the prophet Chibeu. Have we ever taken time to appreciate, first of all, as a prophet? Have we ever gone to him? Because I want to believe each and every one of us, we all in our different lives have issues that press us. Have we ever approached him? And we all know, you don't see him and you start prophet, prophet, prophet. No, there is a procedure. If you want to book, there is a procedure of booking and seeing him. So you don't go running after him when you see him and you're busy running after him. No, there is a procedure. I want to share with us quickly of my own inspiration that could inspire one or two people within the congregation, and even maybe those ones watching online. 2 weeks ago, Prophet stood here and he said, this is the month of July. And he requested us to be specific on the 16th of July. Anybody who wanted to come and see him and just inquire of the Lord about his loved ones who have rested, for him or her to know where they are. Or is it, am I the only one who heard that? Did we hear? We heard him. And by show of hands from the people in the sanctuary, how many came to see Prophet that day? By show of hands, how many people came to see Prophet on that day? I can count. Apostle Pauline was here. Apostle Esibi was here. Apostle Jacob was here. Florence Omido was here, plus the son. And, okay. You are also in, Jacob's brother. Yes, you are in. Happened to be in that day. What I want to share with the church. Anytime you hear a prophet saying something while on this altar, kindly think about it and run with it. I had been asking Prophet about my loved ones, not from that day, but I did start asking him since we were in Gatakaini. That was in 2023, when he once told us in December that we can approach our parents and request them for blessings if they are alive, or the dead ones, we even go to their graves and request them to bless us. Anybody remembers that also? I approached Prophet and told him, Prophet, the only person I know that can bless me is my grandfather. He is not alive, he is dead, number one. Number two, where he was buried, it is now my uncle's home. I have not been there for talk of 20 years plus. So how do I now go, knock, because it is fenced, go into the compound, and I'm looking for the grave. And I know his grave was flat. But when my uncle moved in, he now planted grass on top of it. So even if I went, I would not be able to pinpoint this is the grave where my grandfather was. So I told him, Prophet, it is you to sort me out. My grandfather is dead. Number two, I cannot even be able to locate his grave. So how else can you help me? Because it is him I want to bless me. So he did prayers, and indeed, he met my grandfather, and my grandfather blessed me. But I had been troubled for so long, for many years, and I was quiet, because I didn't know where they were. But the me you see today, I was brought up by the same grandfather and my grandmother. They were people of the church. So this is what I borrowed from them, the me I am today. So I assumed they were in heaven. I also lost my immediate sister 30 years ago. I didn't know where she was. So beginning of this year, I approached Prophet again, and I told him, I want to know where these three people are. And he told me, Chibeu, all of them are in hell. And I was pained within my spirit. For one, how was my grandfather in hell, and yet he was a servant, and a great servant. And what I have, I learned from him. So why is it that he's in hell? And the reason he gave me, my brother, my sister, are very flimsy reasons. Reasons that you will not believe. But remember, the word says, there is no small sin, there is no big sin. My grandfather went to borrow a cow. No, his brother. He was the only child of his mother, but his father had 5 wives. So his stepbrother came to borrow a cow from him because my grandfather was well off. And my grandfather declined to give him because he knew he was not a straightforward person. So by that, then my grandfather thought to himself, now that I've denied my brother a cow, he will go and bewitch me. So my grandfather went to the local medicine men to get him something to protect him not to be bewitched by his brother. That was the mistake he made, and that is what sent him to hell. For my grandmother, it was, I was shocked. Because my grandfather was a senior person in church, one time he was asked, they were discussing, and he was asked to give some land. So he actually offered to give land to the church. And he went home and spoke to his wife, who was my grandmother, and told him, I want to give this piece of land to the church. And as usual, women, you will never miss an excuse. She was like, no, I can't give out this land. This is where I grow my vegetables. And the report was taken to heaven by an angel. That is how my grandmother went to hell. For my sister, she used to come to church the way all of us come to church every Sunday. But she had never accepted Jesus as her Lord. That is why she was in hell. So Prophet told me in March, I think, he told me, now, Chibeu, your grandfather and your grandmother, there is a way they can be moved. But as for your sister, it is sealed because she did not accept Jesus. So for your grandmother and grandfather, we will be in prayers for this period of days, 48 days to be precise. The last time he went to the mountain, which was in June, actually the Saturday he was on the mountain was the 48th day. But of course I couldn't call him to tell him now this is the last day. So we went through that process. The two were moved to heaven. So when he stood here that day and he said, you come and find out where your loved ones are. After church, I walked to his office and I told him, Prophet, you have said on Wednesday people come and see you because of their loved ones. I know my sister is in hell and you told me her case is closed. But I want to come and we present the case before the heavens. And he said, it is fine, come, we try. So Wednesday I came I sat here, I worked from here. But when I came, and remember when you're in pain, you can't pray. The only thing you do is cry and throw tantrums. And that is the time I kept on asking God, God, you have used my file, my record, to transfer my grandparents. How is it not possible that even my sister can be moved? And there were questions I kept on asking God. And I told him, you know what, God? Your word even says, it is only one sin, one, that is unforgivable. But all the others, God, you can forgive. Unless your word is not you, manifest yourself. And I kept quiet. So when prophet even one time said, God does not use people who are not courageous. You must be brave. I said, that is my portion. So I came that day. I took my sister's photo. I threw it on this green grass from 8 to 12. And I told God, God, you know what? You will heal that photo. How you do it, I don't want to know. And I continued working. I went in. When my time came, I was called. I went in to see him. So when I went to prophet's office, he asked me, give me the date your sister died, the month, the year, and the day they were buried. Of course, I had all the information in my head. Quickly, I told him. Then he told me, step out, I'll call you. Your case is being processed. So I came, I continued working. When the time came again, I was called to go in at about 3. So when I walked in, before I sat down, he said, your sister is in heaven, your case is closed. Then I looked at him confused because I had told myself, if prophet this time tells me that the case is closed, I will never come back to him. I will keep quiet, but at least before my God, I know I had tried. I did not just keep quiet. So when I went to him and he was like, your sister is in heaven, your case is closed. So I was like, prophet, thank you. I didn't pray for you. I did nothing. It is your prayer. So I was like, I also didn't pray. What happened? But I just want to encourage you. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It doesn't matter. Pick yourself up. Stand up and continue. Be persistent. Remember that widow. She was persistent in her chase, approaching the judge. She did not look on the side. I want to encourage us. You could be in a prophetic church, sitting under a prophetic mantle, and you end up in hell. My brother, it will be a big shame. A big shame. Take advantage of the servant of God that is in your midst. Rivers do dry up. Wells do dry up. He is here for a moment. You might be surprised when you wake up and you hear he has moved to a different location. Strengthen yourself. Approach him. Pour yourself to him. Give him all your issues. Let him sort them. It does not matter. Even if he says, me, I have reached my end, he will reach his end, but God says, when you get to your end, now I start. Continue pressing on. And don't sit back and say, this is beyond me. This is not possible. Thank you so much, and God bless you.